Hi there, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the year 2026. And today I want to touch base with you quickly why 2026 seems so challenging for a lot of people right now. And the energy of 2026 is actually asking us to look forward and not look backward anymore, because it's 6 years ago since the pandemic, and during that time people have experienced much hardship and losses, and we are still in a kind of a bracing mode where we're bracing our nervous system for the next hit or the next loss or the next fear. And the year 2026 is asking us to look forward, to stay in our lane, and to stop bracing ourselves and to drop some of our old coping mechanisms, because they're really not working anymore. And it's causing us to break apart. And we're asked today to return into our bodies. Now, this might sound a little bit strange to you if you're not used to listening to me, but a lot of the work I do at the Purple House is to help people connect in deeply into their bodies, where the real self lives your true essence, and to reconnect with the real part of you. That's the immortal part, the infinite part, the self that was never harmed or damaged, which is always here, but not always per se living in your body, because the real self hops out during trauma, and trauma energy takes over. So this year is asking us to drop off our old coping strategies and mechanisms, the tension and all that, and to return to our bodies. And so I'm here to help you do that. Also, I want you to know that January is always a difficult month for me anyway. So I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking from my lofty heights at all here, right? I've seen it all. So January is an interesting month for me, regardless of the year, because my birthday is in January, and I always thought I've had a wonderful life. I was blind to my own childhood traumas because I didn't see them clearly till I was 40. So in my 40s, things started to unravel inside my body. And this is actually very, very common for a lot of people, because the body keeps the score and the mind hides the score from us. And of course, most of the time we're living in our mind. It's easier to connect from our mind. It's safer there than to actually be in our body. So in 2006, when I was 43, nearly 44 in January, I got hit by a truck. So just think of it this way: the body keeps the score, and the scoreboard was just piling up, and the scoreboard was getting heavier and heavier till there was no more room left to keep the score, and the whole scoreboard fell down, literally. Imagine that. If you're going to a basketball game or somewhere where there's a scoreboard, it's like game over. Literally, we can't keep any more score. The game is finished. The GRADA'S stopped playing that game, and the universe sent me a message. I was hit by a truck. You can read about it, because I've written 3 books about it, about my life and the lessons that I learned from that. But in hindsight, I realized there were other messages. So I always teach my clients and students that the universe talks to you through a feather first, and then a brick, and then a truck. So can we please be more mindful to the little signs, and then we don't have to experience such big hardships. So we've all had many track moments since the year 2020, and now we've arrived in 2026. The body keeps the score. So as I told you, in January was when I was born then, and then I was hit by a truck, and then I didn't learn everything quick enough because I went back to my old ways. And I had a broken mind in 2008. I spent time in a psychiatric hospital, and then I started to learn to be more compassionate and kind to myself. But all the same, like dramas and so on, kept happening inside my body. And in 2013, in January, this all happened in January, I nearly died again. I needed life-saving surgery. And then I've been feeling good ever since then, so it's like now 13 years ago. But every year when January comes around, and remember the body keeps the score, but there is also a thing called like a calendar in our lives where time also keeps the score as well. So as we go through calendar years and months and weeks and days, there are days that where significant things happen to us, especially, of course, I'm a trauma specialist, and that trauma contains energy that's activated by it being the date on the calendar. Let's say your birthday, mine was the 10th of January, that activates a whole lot of trauma for me each year. Even though I have done like birth healing and all the rest, there are always still more layers to release. So this is about you and about how can you get through the year 2026 with ease and grace and comfort and thrive and prosper, and how can you step out of those old survival mechanisms. The answer forward is to return to your body, and I teach you how to do that during my sessions and also workshops. In March, the first week of March, I'm doing an immersion. I call it an immersion because immersions are powerful, where we come together as a group of people, and 50% of the time you receive treatments, and the other 50% of the time you are giving treatments. And I'm teaching you all the tools of the trades, the secrets that I've discovered from healing my own body and working with over 20,000 clients, as well as I'm studying a PhD at the moment in mind-body medicine. That's called the immersion. You can look that up. That is happening in March. So in a minute, I'll take you through a short meditation that's going to help you, your neural pathways of your human body, because at the moment you are human, a human being. You're a spiritual being, of course, having a human experience. So we have to respect the human vessel and love it, respect it, and see it for the magical experience that it's giving us. And so in a minute I'm going to do that. But I just wanted to tell you a little bit as well why this year has been extra difficult, because one of my beautiful cats, you know that Pete and I love animals and we always have rescue animals, and my most favorite rescue cat, Rastus, who was really my little furball shadow, he disappeared last month. So I haven't seen him now for a whole month. And that actually intensified the trauma that January always brings up to me. I feel like though that Rastus, he was with me for 9 years, my beautiful cat. He came into my life 9 years ago. I feel that he helped me so much for 9 years. He helped to co-regulate my nervous system, helped to keep me calm and safe, because he was like a little Buddha cat himself. He was always protective of me. He would often lie outside the window there when I was working with clients. He disappeared a month ago, so I felt like perhaps he was saying, Grada, I've helped you enough, I'm making a quiet exit and you can do it by yourself now. But all the same, it has been difficult for me. And when we lose someone, whether it's a pet or a human loved one or an ending of something, a move, it again registers in our body, right? And it activates our fears. And humans have 3 core fears, like we have fear of the unknown, fear of emptiness, and fear of intensity. So those 3 fears were activated in me, because grief and sorrow will activate all your fears. So suddenly there is fear of emptiness, we're feeling the emptiness, the hollowness, we think, well, what's the point of life? Why am I even here? Or worse, emptiness than that, like a black void. We fear the intensity, because of course everyone is fearful of emotional intensity, and the unknown, right? So going forward, for me, without Rastus, I still have all my other pets, but I miss him so much. So I have been looked after by Pete. So Pete is and Caleb, they are my healer family members. So Pete is my partner and Caleb is my son. And I've been receiving healing energy from them, as well as, of course, from all my other loved ones. But so whenever I have a treatment, and this is so important for me to experience too, whenever I receive a treatment, I feel like all my trauma is being released from my body, and the real Grada, the calm, sensible adult person, the best shiny version of me, can step in without shadows, without hooks and thorns and all the rest. And I feel safe in my body. And this can be accomplished even just during one session. So that taught me again, we're not here to assimilate our grief and our losses and our fears all alone. Not at all. We're here to lean into each other, especially when we're hurting, especially during heartbreak, especially when we're anxious or nervous. We have to just reach out for help, because help is there. But our conditioning or our grooming as a child has often been the opposite, because we were often told not to cry, not to do this, not to do that, and stop it and all the rest. So we've been trained to push down our natural instincts to the point where we don't even understand what we're feeling in our body when the rubber hits the road. It was very bad in my childhood, but I never realized that till I got hit by a truck. And I had to go back into my childhood and take a really good, hard, honest look at what it was really like for me as a little child. Because I want you to know all the experiences that happen in your life are just a repeat from the first 7 years, from conception to age 7. Everything that happened then just gets put on repeat. But if we don't see it, the energy builds up. And that energy can be cleared. That's what I trained myself in, because when we clear that energy, the body can free itself, and then of course the body has the blueprint for perfect health, and it just is able to repair in wonderful ways, like my body did. So if January is challenging for you, or it's just the start of the year and you're realizing, oh my God, I don't know what's hit me, please reach out, because as I said, we are literally wired to move through pain and trauma and stress and overwhelm with each other, not on our own. And the reason I needed to be hit by a truck that was driving on a quiet road, there was only one truck on the road, and I was a passenger on the side of the road, and it was driven by an old grumpy Dutch truck driver. What are the odds of that in Tasmania, right, on a quiet day? And the truck just hit my bottom and smashed my body, which is like very symbolic of what would happen when I was a child. And if I lost my cat sometimes. I always loved animals, and I had rescue cats. And if I cried, I would get a hiding from my father, because he was a very lovely man, don't get me wrong, but he survived the Second World War. He thought it was all nonsense, and he was probably trying to toughen me up for life. So he probably thought, I have to toughen this girl, otherwise she's not going to survive in this cruel world. So he sometimes was cruel to me in particular, just speaking for myself, not for my siblings. Those experiences went into my body and created the track moments in my life in January. So to finish this off, I just want to say, if you're going through stressful, difficult times, not only can you reach out for help, and I promise you that we can help you, also stop trying to fix yourself. That's always what I was trying to do. Then I would come in and smack myself, like with the thoughts that I was having, right? Thinking I was no good, or just man up, or do the Dutch bravado, or whatever. Whereas now I'm not being like that anymore. I know my body just wants to know it can survive through the month of January, and when February comes along, it already starts to feel safe. And so I know that's all my body wants for me, is to be kind and gentle and patient, compassionate and caring, and just slow down, bunker down, spend time in bed, don't do anything crazy, and just be kind to myself, and just reassure myself that I can make it through January. And every year I do that, that's putting credit in the bank account of my own coping mechanism. So I hope I've inspired you to just be real with yourself. Remember that the year 2026 is when the universe wants you to start moving forward, moving forward by dropping into your body. The fastest way you can calm your nervous system is by going like this and just resting your folded hands, which calms your brain, onto your heart center, which is right here. And then you can close your eyes. Feel your bottom on the chair, feel your feet on the ground, and just allowing the grounding energy that comes through the top of your head, through your spine, and runs through the back of your body, through your feet, dropping that all the way into the ground. And you just keep doing that. Breathing in and breathing out through your nose. And just continually catching the downward movement. And you can even visualize a color as you do that. If you do that for 10 minutes every day, you don't even have to come and see me, but I would love for you to come and see me. But that is like training your neurology to become calm and unshakable and resourceful. And that allows you to come back into your body, to return to the real self. I hope you found this helpful, and I'm hoping that you all have a really, really good start to 2026. And I'm here to help you. So is Pete and Caleb. My friendly team is always on the phone on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And on Saturday, we also have the wonderful Purple House Kitchen Cafe and garden, where you can come and relax and spend half the day if you like, and allow your nervous system to reset. Thank you for tuning in. Looking forward to being with you next week. Bye for now.